Enforcement notification, suspended for 1 year, effective 3/12/12. Suspension is stayed. Placed on probation for 3 years, effective 3/12/12. Assessed a civil penalty of $4,000. Porfirio Rodriguez Jr., Candor, New York. Excused from tonight's meeting, they're listed on the agenda. We'll move on to CON Committee. Mr. Regan.
CON Committee met and reviewed the application submitted and determined it is complete. And forwarded on to the state, which they just returned their report on fitness and competency and found no bars. So we have a public hearing scheduled for Monday night, April 9th at Tamarack High School, 6 p.m. And we would encourage as many members of the council who can attend that meeting. It's very important to educate yourself on what goes on and make an informed decision on your vote, which will come up at the next Remsco meeting. So again, it's April 9th, Monday night, 6 o'clock, Tamarack High School.
Okay. To dovetail onto that, there's been discussion about having more education for the council members on the CON process. Steve, do you want to cover that? You've been kind of handling
Sure.
that.
In order for us as a body we all have to vote on CONs, and yet if we ask around the table how many of us have got real experience in how the CON process works, a lot of us sort of shrugged our shoulders and I don't know, I kind of come and vote on what I'm asked to. We've talked with our counsel, Terry Hannigan, about beginning a seminar series for us that would be a 2-part series, maybe 25-30 minutes at one meeting, 25-30 minutes another, that takes us through CON 101 so that all members of the council understand, number one, what our responsibilities are, and then number two, what are some of the common problems or challenges in the CON process, so that when we get the applications and we're asked to vote, we all have a little bit more grounding in what the responsibility that the state has placed in us is. Terry can do that for putting together the presentations, going back to the statute, then coming and making the presentations at 2 upcoming Remsco meetings, and there's a seconded motion coming forward from the council for us to do that, spend not more than $1,200 on his time in preparing the materials and making the presentations at upcoming meetings.
Any questions, comments, discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Reports of committees, executive committee, everything we discussed in our meeting will brought up out here tonight. Tim, anything you'd like to add?
For the report?
For your report?
Everybody should have a copy there. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll entertain any questions if anybody has any.
Do you want to discuss our IT issues with Robbie while we're on your report?
Okay,
you did most of the talks with him.
There's a brief summary on your report there. I think most of the council, if not everyone, is aware we've had some issues with our service expectations with Robbie and the way he handles our remote ALS program and our website maintenance. Finally got Robbie in here for a sit-down meeting last week. Prior to that, we sat on 3 months worth of his invoices and a rather large payment for him to perform the work we needed to update Remo ALS. The meeting went well. I learned some stuff. Some of the stuff I knew, some of the stuff I didn't. A lot of the stuff that Robbie does, he's very dependent on his partner, Peter Ragone, who took a job in New York City. Robbie will be replacing Peter Ragone with a new programmer. Hopefully that's going to solve some of the central issues here with the delay in our service expectations and the work we need him to accomplish in a timely manner. I'm going to issue, or we're going to develop a new contract. We'll negotiate that with Robbie as well. Service expectations are going to be a highlight and a focus upon that contract. I'm going to remove him from our website support or maintenance. We're going to find someone else to do the website maintenance for us. And that's pretty much it,
Okay.
in a nutshell anyways. So.
Any questions for Tim?
Just not a question, just a timing thing. I noticed Marvin and Company plans to present in April. We should probably not schedule that for the same month as Terry.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just happened to see that in Tim's report.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Tim? All right, we'll move on to Treasurer's report.
We're still in good shape. Our accounts receivable are growing quite a bit, primarily due to delayed payment on vouchers that are due from the state. I think that's kind of a sign of more to come. But nonetheless, we're still in really good shape. The balance sheet, I won't read to you, it's pretty self-explanatory. We have $529,000 in total assets, including $94,000 in receivables. The rest of it is liquid. Very little liabilities. There are 3 bills for approval this month. Lang Stam for a plaque, CPR books, and Robbie McHugh for IT work, which was the big one, $5,551. And those come to you as second motions for approval unless you have questions on them.
Any questions for Rich? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay. GPO Finance Committee?
GPO volume was $2,200 for $2,100 and change for the month of February, and that's it.
Thank you, sir. The doctor seems otherwise occupied at the moment. Council didn't, State PMS Council?
State EMS Council meets again in May. No meeting since our last meeting here.
Okay, thank you. Nurses Committee?
Yep, we had our meeting on March 15th, and we talked about the final Remo restocking form. The changes were medications that will not be restocked are controlled substances, Toradol, Zofran ODT, and diltiazem. And then the following miscellaneous items that will not be restocked are cervical collars, intubation supplies, bandaging supplies, and gloves. Otherwise, everything else stays the same. PCRs, the Department of Health, Dr. Daly had said the Department of Health was looking at the PCR form from a handoff communication perspective, and they will continue to do that. Face sheets, Saratoga reported that they are still in the process of trying to get the auto fax to work and to get it to get that function up and running, and it has not happened at this time. She said what EMS has to do is wait for the patient to be fully registered, or the medical records department the following day. They would have to go to medical records to get a copy of the sheets. So she really didn't have any time frame that would be up and running. Seton Health is still just auto faxing once a day, and Saratoga, we are currently, we will send the face sheets to Multimed, which is the billing company, if that's what they have, or to their own personal billing company the following day. I did meet up with Empire, and they had asked if they could also have the face sheets sent to their billing company, so we're going to be doing that as well. In addition to that, because they did want them sooner than, we told them if they wanted to wait for the face sheets to be completed. The issue is they wanted them with just the name, date of birth, and reason for visit, which really is not enough. It's not, the information isn't verified. So they can wait for it. It's just that it might take a little bit longer. We figured, or we decided that we would send. We're putting in the process. We're having some issues with the lines, but we're in the process of putting another printer in the EMS room. And once we get that up and running, they'll be able to print it at the same time that we get them fully registered. Let's see. We also talked about the one-for-one exchange. Art Briel from Albany Med talked about the issues holding EMS accountable again for the one-for-one exchange. He said when a discrepancy is found, what they're doing is sending a report to Tim Robley from Remo, and also they're notifying the agency that they're involved with. And he said that one agency was deactivated for 30 days due to abuse of that. So we really felt that the stocking agreement needed to be revisited. And the nurse committee again was asking Remo to send out another reminder regarding the one-to-one exchange. And Remo had said that if they were aware of it, that they would take action if they knew exactly who it was that they were having issues with, who was abusing that. And our next meeting will be on May 17th, and Saratoga's will be hosting it.
Excellent. Thank you. Dr. Daly, your 3 committees?
The daily report. First, for those of you that have not been watching my recent public relations moves, I seem to be rapidly becoming one of the local spokespeople for the ban on synthetic marijuana. For those of you that don't know what synthetic marijuana is, it is adulterated plant materials which have synthetic cannabinoids sprayed upon them that are then smoked. The market that this stuff is going to is mainly youth. Seems to be primarily the folks that have less of a time walking into your local small shop and buying a packet of this stuff, but would have a problem walking in and buying beer. So most of the patients that we see seem to be under the age of 21. The effects of this are pretty dramatic. Psychosis, profound alterations in mental status. Some folks become very hypertensive and tachycardic. Some are requiring sedation restraint. But we're working with the Department of Health, have done some meetings with other folks, including Senator Schumer, who's looking to do a national ban on this stuff. So if you happen to see somebody that's on this, give them a whole bunch of Versed. It's good for them. Settle them down. From one thing to the next, drug shortages. Mentioning Versed seems like a timely opportunity. Drug shortages will continue. There are two different groups of people that I'm trying to stay in touch with on a regular basis. One is folks from the state working with Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement, working with other folks around the state to get a good understanding for where these drugs are falling short and coming up with alternative therapeutic solutions if necessary. The other is with our local hospital pharmacies and other potential pathways. So far, we've mitigated most of the major crises along the way and have not ended up with any patient care related issues associated with these. And thanks everybody, because I've got to say, local hospitals and local agencies have been extremely flexible at making sure that we work our way through these problems, but they're going to persist. Topics from our recent meetings of importance. Nothing. But a very exciting announcement that our basic life support intranasal naloxone program kicked off at Hoag's Corners back in the middle of March and was extremely well received. We're waiting for materials to be printed up by the AIDS Institute, which was one of the Department of Health entities that was involved in the project. Tim has boxes and boxes of little blue kits with intranasal or naloxone and mucosal atomizer devices ready to go, and we'll be enrolling BLS agencies that don't have easy access to ALS in this new program. So it's pretty exciting, very well received. So thank you for your support on that.
Thank you, sir. MCI Committee?
You know, it occurred to me as I sat here that, you know, we instituted this MCI plan, this regional plan, but as I look around, I realize there's a lot of new faces here, and I wonder if it wouldn't behoove us maybe to send this plan out again to all the people that are involved, either on the council or the coordinators in the counties, to be disseminated amongst the agencies, because a lot of people don't know that the plan is out there. I think it may be a good idea if we did that. Like I mentioned at the last meeting, because Jim Reagan wasn't here, that he's agreed to kind of work with some of the PSAPs and the educational part of our plan. In addition to that, working on the drill at the Albany Airport. So I'll see what happens when you're not here, Jim. Jim, do you have anything else to say about that?
I started working on it, and I've been contacting a couple different counties who I haven't had good contact with. Greene County gave me the name of their contact, and Schenectady County firmed up the correct person to talk to, and the Albany County communications coordinator has changed persons too, so now I'm contacting him. So we're working on it.
Membership, I don't see Phyllis. Tim, is there any membership issues you're aware of? Okay, we'll move along then. Nominating's not needed at the moment, so QI, I don't see Jim. Does anybody have any report on that? Okay. Awards Committee.
Lynn came, couldn't be here tonight. We had a meeting this afternoon, this evening, before the other meeting on the awards committee. Lynn has a gravely ill pet now, which is unfortunately bad luck for her. She's having a bad run here.
Oh, yeah.
So she's done her work. She ran someplace to send email, our minutes out for us tonight before she went back to the hospital. So the awards dinner again is going to be in the fall. The date will be announced in the place. But nominations need to be back to Remo by May 4th. In our packets of paperwork here, the flyers were handed out. Please distribute them robustly and enthusiastically try and get some solicitations for us. Tim's going to make it available on our website as well, and the link to the parameters for these awards. Our award winners are forwarded to nomination for the state awards, which will be handed out at Vital Signs this year. All right.
Thank you. County reports. Albany,
Nothing new to report.
Columbia,
Just got a grant for 10 new Santa kits, which we distributed in the squads and counties. Nothing else.
thank you, sir. Green County,
Yes, I'm pleased to report that we tested out 40 BLS original and research recently. We have 17 in an upcoming CFR course so far. And one exciting thing is I've been approached about getting an ENTP course or a CFR course, either one or the other, in Kentucky Athens High School. And the problem is that they want a CIC that's also a certified teacher, which unfortunately I am. But we're working on that. That's all I have.
thank you. Rensselaer County,
Not much to report. We do have a EMP original refresher starting next month, and possibly another one starting the month after, if that gets approved. And other than that, as Dr. Daly mentioned, we're the recipients of the nasal program, Narcan, and it was very well attended, and I think the response was very good, and we're working on getting more of the squads involved in it.
excellent. Thank you. Saratoga County, no report. Schenectady County,
No report.
excellent. No new business. Under old business, CPR in schools. Steve?
Yep, thanks. Last month was brought up that the CPR in schools bill is in the legislature and to see what we could do to help it along. In your packet is a handout that has a letter that anybody could send to their elected representatives to push the CPR in schools bill. It is a very active bill right now, and I'd like to ask first everyone here to consider whether they would want to send a letter in support, and also hand this out at your agencies, post it in bulletin boards. There's a link where you can send an email to a legislator online, or people can just cut and paste this. It's less than a 200-word letter to provide some support for that. And Tim, maybe we can find a way to circulate this out by email. But Dr. Daly had brought it to us as something we should support. And then there was a not favorable editorial in the Schenectady newspaper saying that we shouldn't be doing this. And so we're trying to put some energy back. And this is all endorsed by the American Heart Association.
Alrighty, that's it for old business. Any items from the floor? Okay, seeing none, motion to adjourn.
I so move.
All right, thank you, everyone.